Hey y'all, Sai here! I did a video of that barrel lid a few weeks ago, and I had a few different questions. Well, I had more than one question, but I can't find the second question, so I think it was on a different social media, which I don't know, I can't find it, but I can find this one from Kurt. And he asked this.
Looks nice. I do have a question. When putting the design on the top, you said the laser computer might not turn out as expected, or words like that. What happens if it does not turn out as expected? Can you sand it down to get rid of the burnt area? And if so, would you have to do the whole thing?
So I am going to address that question from Kurt today. So first of all, yes, whatever you burn, you can sand it off. Okay, first of all, I am going to demonstrate on this little piece of oak. I am going to put something on there and then I'll sand it off. So with the laser, this is your focal point. So I'm going to put that there, and you're supposed to lift this thing up and then it sets down on that. I'll show you over here. When you lift up this orange guard, and this whole thing moves up and down, and you've got this little, this will fit right under where this whole mechanism will sit. So you get that to fit just right, because if it's too far away, it's going to be blurry. If it's too close, it's going to be real burny. So you want it to be that focal length right there. And I read something about just adjusting one side of it instead of adjusting both. So I just do it that way. And then you can just pull that out.
Somehow I hit the home button and the whole thing went back to the lower left corner. So I have to move it manually.
Okay, I'm moving it like this because... All right, I am moving that with the little move symbols because this little feature here where you click that, and wherever I click it on here now, the laser would just go right to that spot. So if I clicked over here, the laser would go there according to my table. If I clicked over here or over here, so like I'll show you, I'll click over here, which means it should go right here, but it always goes to the upper right corner. So something's wrong with it, and I don't know how to fix that. And I really liked that button because it made things easier to line up. But it is what it is. So
what I am trying to explain is that there is an awesome button on this laser burn program, and it's called Set Laser Position. See, it turned red, and you are supposed to click it, and then wherever you point and click on your project, it'll move the laser head on the machine to that position. This feature no longer works on mine for some reason, so instead I have to move it with the arrows going click, 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 slowly in the X and Y position until I get it to where I want to go.
we'll just get it about-ish where I want it. Okay, I'm gonna move that orange thing up a little bit because it's almost scraping on the wood. There. Okay. And going back over to this, we have this really cool button that will, if we go shift frame, it'll frame in a square what I'm trying to laser. So I will show you that over there. Well, maybe I could just back this up and you can see both of it. So this is super nice trying to figure out how things are going to look when you laser it. Okay. So, and if you shift and hit frame, then it'll actually show a little laser beam coming down. Let me raise that orange thing a little bit more again. Okay, got that better now. All right, so shift frame, and you can see the laser is actually shooting, so I can see where the laser is going to go. If you just go frame, it'll go without the laser beam running. So now I'm going to save the G code. I'm going to call it is because it's Isaiah. Save. I already have one called is. I'll replace it. So I'm going to run the G code, which was is, and we're going to run it. There's a little feature here. If you click that, it'll tell you how long it's going to take. It's going to take 35 seconds. I don't have my phone on. I don't have the fan on, which I need to have on, and I need to have my air on too, my suction. But I knew it would be quick. So there it is. So now let's go over and sand it off and see how easy that is. I'll use this 80 grit on it. It comes off, takes a little bit of elbow grease, and it does go in a little bit deep, but it depends on the wood too. Okay, another thing I've noticed with the laser is you can set your speeds. So if I go here to laser and cutting, right here is your speed, and I keep it at 70/80, which is 70 speed, which is inches. Speed is inches per minute, so 70 inches per minute, and max power at 80%. And what I've noticed with that is it seems to work really well, and it's pretty good on most woods as far as how much burning it causes. But some of these settings on here will have this max power at like 200 something. And when that happens, the whole machine just kind of vibrates, and then it'll make whatever you're burning, it'll be funny. The letters will be off a little bit, and they don't line up because the whole machine is moving. And for a while, well, I've taken this off because I've had to move this up and down. Sometimes your wood is too thick and it won't fit here, so you have to lift the whole thing up to fit a thicker piece of wood, which is fine. But if I have it secured to the table, that really helps because then the machine doesn't jump around. The whole table might wiggle a little bit. And so just having at a lower setting for speed works better. So all of the mistakes that happen are usually operator error. Like this sign I made. So I had lasered this sign, but I didn't like where the reference was. So I cut it off, and I'm going to make the reference smaller right in there. And it is this Isaiah 48:17. And we know that this piece of wood is thinner, so I'm going to drop this down to there. I can see where the bottom is. Instead of having to stick it under the whole device, I just put it next to it so I can see it, visualize it. And now I'm going to measure and see how small I want it to be. I want it to be like 1.5 inches. So back up here on my screen, I can resize this to 1.5 inches. There. We can look and see what it's going to look like and how long it's going to take. It's going to take 16 seconds. It's going to look just like that, which is what I want. Now let's run the little frame thing to see if it's where I want it to be. So go control frame. Okay, way too high. So we need to have this come down, which we can go move like this. All right, let's try that and see how it looks. Right. I usually look at it a billion times, probably too much. And I think I will just move this up a little bit without moving the whole thingamajigger. Okay, I think that looks good. Now let's just make sure it's in the center. Okay, let's try it again. All right, one more time. Okay, yes. All right, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to save the G code, and we're going to save it as is again, and it will replace it. Save, replace it, and then run the G code. Is open. Right. There we go. Ah! We'll see if I like it. All right. Woo, it's done. That was quick. All right. Ah, yes. That looks good, I think. Maybe cut that down a little bit. And these off. I just used the table saw to cut down a wee bit. A wheeze bit. A wheezer. A wheeze-deezer. That might be too close. Ah, okay, we'll have to do it this way. All right, let's see. Let's just measure it. I will measure 4 inches. That's easy. 4 inches. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. Woo! That's much better. Now we need to cut the sides off. Will it ever end? No, it will never end. It will never end because I don't like it when it's not right. Okay, so we're gonna cut about right there. And we'll do so up here. Like that. There. All right, much better. Woo! Look at that. Woohoo! Now on the back before, I had this verse. So this verse right here says, I am Yahweh, your God, who teaches you to do what is good, who leads you in the way you should go. And Yahweh is YHWH, which in Hebrew is the 4 consonants of the Hebrew alphabet. And anyway, in English, it is YHWH, which is the name of God Almighty. And it is replaced with Lord, big L, big O, big R, big D in most Bibles, but I'm reading a Bible right now that replaces this, so I love it.
While editing, I noticed I actually dropped this thing and caught it. We'll have to look at that again.
In most Bibles, but
Wow, that was pretty cool, and I didn't even realize it.
then on the back, I had Deuteronomy 30:11. It says, for this commandment that I command you today is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. Awesome. And then I had, down here, I had Matthew 30:11, I think it is, or 11:30. Anyway, I'm going to put that back on here now because I had cut it off because it was messed up. It's Matthew 11:30, and what I just realized is this is Deuteronomy 30:11. Oh, isn't that cool? We could put it real tiny right there, I guess. Maybe I'll make it one line. That would be good. So we could just move this like this. Matthew 11:30. There. And let's see how long I want it to be. Could be like 5 inches. Oh, 5.4. Okay, that'll work. So now let's put this back on there, like so. It's the same board, so the height is right. And let's put it like right there. Okay, let's see how that's gonna look if I go shift frame. Okay, that doesn't seem in the center at all, but shift frame. There. Okay, yeah, let's move this down a little bit. And let's try it again. Shift frame. All right, I also want to move it down a little more, so let's just move this whole thing. Okay, that's good. So now let's go say G code. We'll go matte, shave, and run G code, matte. Okay, there we go. Something else about this is this grid. So when I first put the screws in here to mount it to the table to give it more stability, my neighbor suggested that I put in a grid so that when I do something like this, I can line my piece of wood up with the grid and know that it's straight. And since these holes I know are in line with the machine, I know the grid is right on track because you just laser the grid to your table, which is pretty cool. But anywho, that was a great idea and I've used that grid a lot. Yeah, a lot. Okay, it's almost done and I think I'm going to turn the fan on and the other thing to suck up that stuff and keep it nice and cool. I just have a fan blowing on the laser and then it's blowing it into the hood for the suction. Okay, so there it is. Nice. I would say it's off a little bit and I didn't have the hole lined up perfectly, so but that's okay because it's the back. It's the back. I'm okay with the back being like that a little bit. All right. Nice. Now I just have to do some sanding around here and all that stuff, and that will be done. So what I wanted to point out about this Matthew 11:30 is it's Jesus talking, and he says, "For my yoke is gentle and my burden is light." And Yahweh, his Father, said, "For this commandment that I command you today is not too hard for you, neither is it far off." So Isaiah 48:17 says, "I am Yahweh your God, who teaches you to do what is good, who leads you in the way you should go." And it's not too hard, and it's gentle, and the burden, if there's any burden, it's light. So, woohoo! Yeah! All right, well, I hope that was helpful, especially for you, Kurt, since you asked about what to do if it messes up. And yes, you usually have to sand the whole thing off and start over since you can't stop it and then restart it where it ended. I've had, for some weird reason, I've had it where it misses some. But that was when I first started lasering, and I've been lasering longer now, and I've realized some things. Sometimes you can have like a dot way out of your screen that you don't even realize is there, like a period or something. And the machine will be, and it'll all mess up and everything because it's trying to go out there to that dot that you didn't know was out there. So yeah, it's just little things of getting to know your program, which is Lightburn is what I use. And my Ortur Laser Master Pro 2 or something like that. It's all in my Amazon store. If there's a link down below, and you can go there and you can look at all the tools that I use and that Ortur laser, which I imagine there's even a newer model or maybe even a better brand than Ortur. I don't know, but I love it. And it's one of my favorite things I've ever bought for the shop. And I use it all the time. It just makes things so pretty, and it's easy to put your logo and scripture verses on the back and everything like that. Yeah. Well, if anybody has any more questions about the laser or about Lightburn, just ask me. I don't know everything about Lightburn, but I know how to use quite a bit of the features on there, and it's really cool. And there are a lot of tutorials, easy tutorials. All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye. In most Bibles, but 8:17. Then on the back, far off. So